Hopefully, this message of God's love towards you, no matter what you've done, no matter what has been done to you. Didn't Pastor Caleb preach about that? The deep shame we feel over what's been done to us, over the mistakes that we've made. It has no hold on our lives anymore. We can experience freedom because Jesus' blood and his intercession covers that. God's love, didn't we just sing, is bigger than our sin. We can be found because of Jesus. And I've been thinking about God's love for us and what it means. And it means a whole heck of a lot. But there's just 3 things that I want to lay before you really, really briefly as we close. 3 things that I want to remind you of because of God's love towards you. Here it is. God's love for you first means that you have nothing to fear. God's love for you means that you have nothing to fear. When I was a little kid, lost at that 4th of July festival, I was pretty scared. But I think at a kind of deep level, too, there was a comfort and an assuredness that I knew my mom wasn't going to stop looking for me. You know? And there's a lot to fear right now. There's a lot in your lives that I know is causing legitimate and very real worry and anxiety. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. It has been a challenging year. So again, I'm not saying the circumstances of your life, they're not a big deal. I'm not minimizing the pain that you're experiencing. I'm not minimizing the struggles that you have going on in your life right now. But God loves you. And so even in those tension-filled moments, following him means there's this deep sort of rest and this deep comfort, this deep assuredness that comes from knowing that the God of the universe, he never once stopped looking for you. He keeps coming and he keeps coming, he keeps coming and he keeps coming. And God's perfect love does have the power to banish fear, to explode fear, to melt fear. God's love means that you have nothing to fear. Second, God's love means that you have nothing to hide. God's love means that you have nothing to hide. I know that you're hiding some things right now. You're holding some things right now. There's stuff in your life, in your heart, in your past that you haven't whispered to a soul. And there can be different reasons why. But I think one of the most powerful reasons why we hold back a lot of times is because we have this thought of, if they knew, they wouldn't love me anymore. If they knew, they would leave me. And so we hide. Friends, maybe this terrifies you. I find it to be good news. God already knows. God already knows. There is nothing you have done or said or thought that has happened hidden from him. That is his size, that is his majesty, that is his power, that is his presence. You can't hide. But we sure try, don't we? Didn't our first father and mother, Adam and Eve, isn't that not what they did immediately? Deep shame at rebelling against God. Put on some fig leaves and tried to hide from God. We can't hide from God, but we sure try, don't we? God's love for you should mean that you have nothing to hide, both from him and from his people. Friends, you can't shock me with something you might want to tell me. You can't. Trust me. Try me. Come knock on my door. Man, when we hide, that's a dangerous place to be. Because we isolate. We're just not built that way. We think we can handle it. We think we can make it on our own. Don't hide. God knows. And if you can't tell his people, if you can't confess, if you can't admit, if you can't come forward, if you can't share, where are you going to do that? God's love for you means that you have nothing to fear, nothing to hide, and here's the last one, nothing to prove. Whew. I wake up most days feeling like I'm not enough and I've got to prove it. to myself, to my family, to you all, the students that I love serving, to this institution. And I think there's a sense of like, yeah, we got to grow, we got to be better, we need to work our hardest, try our best. You can't earn God's love. Romans 5 reminds us that God decided to exchange the value of Jesus for us while we were still sinners, Romans 5:8. Wasn't after we cleaned ourselves up and had a good day, okay, now Paul's good enough for me to send Jesus to find him and die for him. Nope. So I don't have to prove it. I don't have to earn it, and you don't either. And experience the freedom of these three things. Nothing to fear, nothing to hide, nothing to prove. Rest in this good news, right? Rest and find comfort and peace and assurance in this good news that God loves you so much that he came to find you. You were a lost sinner. Maybe you are still a lost sinner. Be lost no more. Become found and rest and walk in the freedom that provides.